Alright, here we are. So if you notice, again, we're at a supply zone like we were on Monday. So I'd want to see this try to sell, but you never know. Could just keep buying. This is some great overnight. Um, look right here. We had this at 10:45 and it just kept buying. Yeah, that's what we like to see. I have my alerts on, so if I get a sell, um, might pop back in. But yeah. Yeah, the whole goal is to try to isolate the times when these MACD crossovers are heavily manipulated, and then the times when they're not, and when price just goes. Obviously, it's not gonna work 100% of the time every single time, right? There's gonna be times where it just doesn't, and that's okay. Uh, so it looks like we're here. This was our initial, potentially the initial entry right here. So we're not too far off from where that first crossover happened. And I'm gonna look at the DOM because that'll give more information. Yeah, so that'll tell us where we actually are. All right. Yeah, price can just sit in one spot for quite some time before it moves. Notice how there's no countdown timer here. I don't know if that's a glitch. Oh, now there it is. Yeah, jump down. Sometimes there'll be no countdown timer and it'll just sit in one spot for a while. So the initial entry for a bob was here. Mm, you are noticing divergence. I like divergence. So fun. Let's get rid of this for 2 seconds. This is only on here so I can, so it was easier to find where levels were and ranges and all that. But anyways, if you notice, there is divergence because that's how we bought up here. We had, this was the highest peak, right? So between here and here, we have 57.49. But then after we hit that 57, we also had a few more peaks. One here, 34, 15. Okay. And another one over here at 14. And this one is at 12. Exactly. So because of this, or even 10, um, so because of this, you're thinking we probably gonna sell from here. just because, and the only reason why I say that is because we're at a supply. This is our marked out, well, pre-marked out supply zone. Um, this is our supply zone. There's divergence. Um, and so I honestly want to see this tip over and and come all the way back down to where I don't know. But so I'm kind of biased for a sell at this point in time. Yeah. So I think this was our if this was yesterday, which this was yesterday, and so we bought up from here, right? I need to go deal with the pup. But yeah, so we bought up from here. And so this was our demand zone, and we broke through and created a new demand zone. So, yeah, I'm honestly thinking we're gonna sell, but we'll see. I will keep my alerts on, but I gotta go right now. So. Yeah, I thought the pup had to go outside, but then he went back to bed. So, um, but yeah, that's the thing. Mm, Let me just go back here. That's the other thing. Like, there are a couple things happening, but everything is relative. It's all relative to absolutely mean nothing because just because, uh, just because we're in a supply zone, right? We could continue up into the supply zone for who knows how long, or not. You know, this divergence could mean something, or it could not, and that's the thing. You don't really, you don't really get to know. You don't really know until it happens, and that's why they say trading is basically gambling because you don't know. You just don't know. You know, like look here, we're in a supply. eh, So supplies one probably moved because it was probably down here, and then when it bought up into here, it moved it up here. So see, just because it's at a supply zone, it could continue buying all the way up higher. And then, as you can see here, it created some divergence between these equal highs, a lot of divergence, and then it ended up just selling rapidly. But um, here we were coming up, we were buying up, right? So the difference between here, so we're buying up at 25, then we're at 28. So 28 is 25 to 28. That's not divergence, but it did sell, right? So just because there's divergence in one doesn't mean there has to be exactly. Just because there's divergence doesn't mean that it's actually going to turn around. This created an equal high to this. Well, this was basically almost 1, 2, 3 peaks almost. Um, and the difference between this one to here to now down here is quite a bit. So from here to here, right? So yeah, this is looking like it's about to flip into a sell. And I'm gonna trust that sell over trying to get in a buy. Oh, let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Because also, just because it looks like it's gonna cross over doesn't actually mean you could get something jumbled that looks like this for a minute, keeps buying, and then sells. Mm, we hope it doesn't do that, but you never know. As you saw yesterday, there we go. I got my alert down over here. So I want to measure the difference between these three. Yeah, if I'm gonna sell, I want it to be up here, honestly. 230. Otherwise, it's just gonna go without me. Excuse me, come back. Okay. Will it make it up there? That's my question. Because we might run down. I'm gonna put it at this. Sell limit there. And then, yeah, so it has to come up 2 to put me in, which might be asking a lot considering if it's gonna go, it's gonna go. But that's a better entry because then our stop can be our stop can be all the way up into the ether and rather than having it, getting in here where price currently is. So if you got in there, if you're not patient and you jump right in, which we could do, there's 4 ticks already, and then there's 8 right there. So, I don't know. We're gonna keep it like that because, yeah, there's a potential for it to come back up. And honestly, there's also potential for it to just create new highs as well. So I'm only basing this sell off of divergence and off of what? I don't remember. Yeah, divergence and the fact that we're at a supply zone. No, go back up. Yeah, it's not going to. That's annoying. Anyways, he just wanted to put me in the trade. Do, 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 do. I'm moving it down 1, and if it doesn't put me in there, that's too bad. I'm not moving it again. Okay, that is unfortunate. And yeah, I'll come back and it'll be all the way down here, and I would have missed the entry all the way up here. Oh well. Anyways, that is how we're gonna leave it. Of course, it's gonna run all the way down. No! Stupid limit order. The reason why I do limit orders is because you can get better entries with limit orders. Yes, you can get a lot better entries when you do limit orders because then you know where you're getting in, you know where your stop, you know where you want your stop to be. And I read somewhere or I watched a video where it said you should be entering where you want your stop loss to be. Like if you think, oh, price could possibly come here. No, if price could possibly come here and what was I saying? Yeah, if price could possibly come all the way back up here and that's where you'd want to put your stop, then that's where you should be entering is up here, right? Or even after we got that signal about here, right? Well, where's the most logical place to put your stop? Just above here, right? So you don't actually want to enter where you would put your stop, where all the way down here, because then, right, let's say you got FOMO and you wanted to enter because you're like, no, it already ran like a bunch, right? Not even that much, but 4 contracts, that's a lot. Anyways, we're not in 4 contracts, but let's say you got impatient and you were like, no, I gotta get in right now. Well, guess what's gonna happen? If price decides to retest this area and you just got in, let's say you got in here and it decides to retest this area, guess what? You're already in drawdown, right? You're risking this as potential drawdown. And you want to limit your drawdown, what your drawdown is going to be. And so again, we're practicing for using more contracts. Exactly. We're practicing to use more contracts. And so if I'm going to place 4 contracts, right? Do I really want to risk $600 on the off chance this might run all the way back up here and test it, maybe even come up into here, right? Because that's $1,000 that I'd be risking, right? Based off of FOMO. We don't want to jump in off FOMO, right? Because you saw yesterday, yes, yesterday, right? Where, right here, price was up here, and I said, I want it to come down here. It could have came down here and still not put me in the trade and then gone, right? But it did come down, put me in, and then it went, right? So it's not impossible for it to come up. Nah, probably all the way up here, yes, but somewhere down, even down in here, it's not impossible for it to come down here. But again, right, you don't want to put your limit order way up top here, because if you do that, then what you're risking is price actually flipping all the way back around, and this creating what? Higher lows. And then if we are creating higher lows and we are in some sort of an uptrend where we just had maybe a little pullback session, and you're placing your sell all the way up here, might not be a good sell. Exactly. This might not be a good sell. This might not be when it sells or where it sells. But the closer you can get in up here, you can create tighter stops, because let's say you get in. Well, my limit order is at 25. Okay. Oh, so my limit order is at 25. So let's say I want it to stay roughly in this region. Yeah, I want it to stay roughly in this region. Well, what if it decides it makes it to that region and then it says, you know what, I'm going to keep going, right? Well, I can set a pretty tight limit order and say, if it goes past here, then I don't want to be in the trade anymore. See, and that's kind of the point, right? Because if you had gotten in here, you'd already be in drawdown. So, but yeah, it's kind of the mindset is patience. That is the mindset. You um gotta let it play out the way it's gonna play out. And yeah, so now we're in, because it did come all the way back. We're gonna risk about I'd say 8. That's $200, which is what we made yesterday. So we're gonna risk what we made yesterday to see what happens today. Probably, we are at a high, and we have good potential to keep creating new highs. Exactly, we have the potential to keep going. So, but it was worth a shot, just because we saw a divergence and we were at a supply zone. Those are the two reasons. It wasn't, and we did have that crossover, but there's other confirmation factors. There's other confirmation factors for why we're in. It's not just, oh, MACD crossover, jump right in. So, yeah, that is what we do. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. But we're only in one contract, risking $200. And yeah, so we'll just watch that. I I don't like watching the Nikkei because it's too nerve-wracking. It's too nerve-wracking. It moves so slow. And you're like, I'd rather come back and either be out. It's usually when I leave, when I walk away, um it's to go prepare myself mentally for a loss. So that when I come back and it's down, I'm like, yep, we saw that coming. And if I come back and it's up, I'm like, well, cool. and then that's just kind of that. I do want to stay here just in case this crosses over again, and it's gonna flip the trade. So this could have been a very weak sell. I don't know. We are at a supply zone. We're in a supply zone, and there's divergence, which means the momentum has slowed down at these peaks. So I wanted to turn around, but we'll see. Right. And then why is my stop loss way up here at 8 ticks? Because, oh, that's a great question. Because if you look at this, right, if price is gonna come anywhere, where's it gonna go? Probably right here to this high. Exactly. Like if it's gonna turn around, it's probably gonna turn around to here at least, right? So let's say, okay, price is gonna actually sell. How high is it gonna go up before it turns around? Here at least, right? And so you don't, because of liquidity sweeps, if you know what those are, you don't really want to place your stop exactly where you would expect to be stopped out, right? Like, oh, this is the high, so I'm going to place it right at the high. You could place it right at the high, right? You could, but then you risk, what are we risking? Yeah, so you could place it at the high, but then what happens, you are going to risk it actually coming out right back up and stopping you out, right? The high is what, 40, 240. So that's the most logical place for it to go. If it keeps buying past that, well, see, now it's at that, right? So why would you place your stop there expecting it to go there? So that doesn't make a lot of sense. So you want to put it above the high if it's actually going to turn around. If it keeps going, I will tighten my stop to probably like 5 ticks or something, because then at that point, see, and it's popping up a little more. Where is it? It's popping up a little bit more. So if it comes to, yeah, if it comes to 100, if it comes up here, then I will place my stop maybe like 1 or 2 ticks down, simply because if we break this high, I would expect it to potentially keep going. And then, it's basically this. Why would you put your stop all the way up here? Because if price decides to flip around and keep going, you're just making a wider loss, I guess, or something, whatever. So that's why we're here. That's why it's up here. If we pop up to, let's say here, past this high of day, then I will lower my stop, because then there's a greater chance that we just keep running up. At which point, I'll get out, because then, we're at a supply zone, and that means we could sell. We have divergence, so we could sell, or we just keep tapping higher into this, right? See how we kind of just skipped up there? That's at 45. So that's the point where I'm going to. So we're at 100. So I'm going to drop this down, because it looks like we have a lot more buying activity. Yeah, we have a lot more buying activity. So I'm going to drop this down to 6. And then, yeah, if we just keep buying up from here, then we just keep buying up. And And that, because now we're getting that. This is about to cross over. So yeah, that's about to cross over and start looking like a buy. It's starting to look like a buy. Doo doo. Yeah, this is not. It's literally just guesswork. That was a very weak sell. This one and that one. You see how there's sellers here, but they're not pushing the price down? Yeah, exactly. You'd want sellers to be pushing price down, and then price will actually come down to here where there are buyers and sellers, but there's 20 here, one, and we're not moving, which tells you, well, I don't know if my analysis is correct, but that's telling me that the sellers are probably weak. So they did push it down just a smidgen, but that could just be that push down to continue buying, honestly, because we are in a creating higher lows, very similar to yesterday. Very similar to yesterday. So I would almost bet that it is a buy. Yeah. If I was a betting man. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so watch what happens here. So that seller's there. Sorry, buyer's there. Seller's here. We're one tick away. And if our sellers move up again, buyers move up. Because basically all that has to happen is this is a buy stop, right? So once a buyer gets up here, this would stop us out. So, and then did we get, no, where is it? Why did I get an alert? So that just flipped over. All right, so this is where I would do my reversal. So add, oh, what happened? I don't even know what happened. That was weird. 25, 55. That's where my stop was. Oh, I guess it did stop me out. Huh. Okay. Hold up. Did I not get an alert for that? That was weird. Okay. All right. So I saw a similar pattern to yesterday where we're creating lower. Well, we were creating higher lows, but I don't know. This supply zone, I don't like that we're in a supply zone, but doesn't mean that we're not gonna keep buying up. And this was a weak sell, very weak. Um, yeah. So this is one. Our stop is right. Where do we enter? Here at 50. So our stop is at right there. So if I come back and it's all the way down there, that means we're out of the trade for certain. Yeah, and that's how we're gonna leave it. So watch it skip all the way down here. It would. That's what it would do. Okay. But yeah, we're risking $100 on this. Yeah, precision and accuracy is key when trading the Nikkei because right? Because how many ticks was that? Like five or something? And yeah, I think it was maybe six. So, but if you consider that 6 ticks, that's 100 and whatever. But if you went for contracts, that's what, $600, right? So again, this is why we trade one, and we're looking for um, ways to confirm these, right? Because again, just because there is one doesn't mean it's gonna be right. Exactly. Doesn't mean that it's gonna be right. Doesn't mean that it's gonna go. And this is probably the third day in a row, because it's Wednesday, third day in a row, where this first one has been incorrect. Um, or maybe it was right and I should have held it. I don't know. Who knows? No. So, um, but yeah, so this is one of those times. This is one of those times where when the strategy doesn't work, you wanna immediately change it. Oh joy. Yeah. Does something doesn't work and then it's like, it needs to change. But we got this, right? We're in an uptrend and I don't even know. Yeah. We're in an uptrend and we're in a supply zone and there's divergence. So everything to me is saying we should sell, but why we didn't sell here is beyond me. Honestly, don't know. But yeah. If it comes all the way down here, that's an oh well. I literally come in this with the mind that I've already lost. That way it doesn't hurt as much. Oh yeah. Anyways, yeah. I'm gonna leave. Ooh, yeah. And it is a news day today, so I think it was a news day yesterday. Yeah, there's always little random little news events, but we're gonna leave this and then, um, yeah, we'll leave it and then come back. I'm gonna leave it up, but I'm gonna come back and I'd rather see this down here than see negatives. Oh my gosh, yeah. But no, this is something that you have to, like, I'm still working on this strategy. So it's not perfect. That's not perfect. It's just I can't back test it because when you try to back test it or you do the replay, the bar replay, you can try to make it so you don't see what's happening beforehand. But then it's just weird because it's like, you know, it'll start here, it'll jump, which is more, I don't know, I guess it's more accurate to what the Nikkei actually does, but it just, it's different. trading, the replay with the fake money versus being actually in the live market, right? Versus, well, this is what I would have done, this is what I could have done, probably would have done, versus what did you actually do, right? And that's the problem. And that's the problem, right? When you're trading, it's not, you can back test all you want, but then um, wow, it jumped all the way down there. That's crazy. Okay, so we're out of that trade. Um, as you can see, boom. Yeah. So again, this it's it's easy to look back and be like, oh yeah, I would have done that, versus would you have actually done that, right? And the answer probably, I really think we need to sell from here. Look at this. Here to there. It's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. You think it wants to sell? See, I'm gonna remove that from my chart. I don't like it. I don't want to see that. Save. It's messing up my chart. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. 5. What are you trying to do, bud? Still in an uptrend. We're still in an uptrend. What? Jumped up and then went down and then went up. All right, so I'm gonna leave that to do whatever the heck it's doing. I don't know. I still think it wants to sell, but who knows? Anyways, I thought maybe we're still buying because we're on this stupid little trend line, but maybe we're gonna sell because there's divergence and we're in a supply zone. So contradicting things happening. So I'm gonna leave this, and then I'll probably. I wish there was a way to pause live streams. Probably come back around. When is that news? Oh, it's not till 9. What the heck? Okay, so I'll probably come back around like 7 or so, and yeah, yeah, probably come back around 7, and then see what's going on then, because this is giving mixed signals. We've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, and none of them have been really great. Actually, they've all been pretty bad. So in light of that, I would not. That's the other thing, right? Is how many losses do you need before you stop trading? Exactly. How many losses before you stop trading? And that's the age-old question. Because again, if you're it's coming. I want to see it break this trend line now. I don't even trade trend lines, but this is a stupid little trend line. But yeah, how many losses do you have to take, right, before you say, yeah, okay, right? And that's key, is when do you stop, right? When do you stop? Because the goal is to be able to keep trading this account until we can't no more. And you can do that in a day. You could trade and trade and trade all day until you can't. Or you can Or you can be smart about it, and if it's gone at the end of the day, it's gone. But there's no reason to get reckless and risk it all, because then you gotta start all over and do this all over. And if we already have a funded account, you know, oh, and we're down at the trend line. You think it's gonna sell? Oh, I know it wants to. Wow, what the heck? Anyways, and this is our. I almost want to do one more trade. To be quite honest, if I had left this one and not flipped it, you'd still be in. Technically, I would be, because it actually, it would be zero right now. Technically, I would be, because it never actually came up to it. I moved my stop thinking that it was gonna that was false, because we were on a stupid trend line. But maybe that trend line was false, and maybe the sell is what we actually wanted to be in. This is where the sell was, right here. 25. That's where our initial sell was supposed to be. Well, wasn't it? Let me check. No, it wasn't. I got in. Yeah, no, I did. And it's all the way back up. Oh no. Yeah. So you only got out because you only got taken out because you moved your stop? Yeah, yeah, stupid trend line. I don't even trade trend lines. But we're back up, so there's that. All right, what to do? What to do? Okay, let's evaluate. Let's analyze. So we were in a trade here, right? We were in right there. Price, we had this crossover here. I recognize we're in a trend. There's a trend line here, that we haven't created any lower lows. So that was somewhat concerning, which is why I moved my stop down, got taken out here. My stop was here. Why did anyways, I got taken out up here. Anyways, got taken out. Then price comes back down and we get another sell right here. We still haven't created any lower lows. We're just sitting below this original trend line I drew. But I'm gonna move this here, because this was my, well, no, never mind. That was your original entry. Yes, my original entry was there. So, you don't know, Lizzie. I don't know, right? Because you've had too many, there were multiple. One that said buy, one that said sell, one that said buy. But one was a buy, one was a sell, one was a buy. And then one was a, see, that buy didn't go anywhere, so that's a sell. Oh, yeah. Whatever. So yeah, because this is where, right here is where we were selling initially, but we just never, yeah, just never went for it. Yeah, I think I'll probably just come back around, I wanna say, yeah, I'll probably come back around 7 to 7:30, and then yeah, so we'll cancel that limit order, and then we'll just come back and um yeah, and see what's going on, because I also noticed that oh wait, let's put this back. Let's put this back. Okay. Because I also noticed that right before market open, this one at 8 o'clock, this one, all right, but we have been selling frequently each time, which is weird. But yeah, so I might try that instead. So I'm gonna actually cancel my, oh, no. No! How can I get out of here? Okay, maybe stops to 0. Oh no. What did you do? That's annoying. Okay. Stop moving so much. I just need to put this at 0. Before price moves up, it takes me out. Oh, there we go. How is that 300? What? Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started. I don't even know how much that lost. That was supposed to be 0. It was $25. Okay. That is wow. You try to lose 0, you lose 25. Don't trade the Nikkei. That's all I have to say. Okay. We're gonna come back at one time. Gonna come back at 7. And yeah, we're gonna come back at 7 because I don't know what we're doing here, but you don't like it. I don't like it. I really think we're gonna sell. I really do. But what do I know? Absolutely nothing. I'll come back and it'll have sold to the moon. Anyways, but yeah, I honestly think it wants to sell, but also it doesn't really know what it wants to do. But that's crazy. Cause yeah, we can hang out around this before we actually decide just to buy. And so we could hang out up here for a while before we actually decide to sell. Or we could just keep buying. And I don't really want to sit here and play games with this thing. So, yeah. Well, we're not playing games. Just going to. Yeah, we're just gonna wait. I'll come back in about an hour. Because this is supposed to be a 2 hour stream. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, you can watch that. I'm gonna go get stuff done. All right, just popping back in. I'm probably gonna cut this stream off. Um, ooh, I still really think it's going to sell, but ooh, basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back at what time is so 8:30. Yeah, I'm gonna come back at like 8:30, and I'm going to see what we can get off the open. Exactly. Gonna see what we can get off the open. It's been selling multiple times. You want to know something? The day I enter, the day I get in, it's gonna do this, right? I'm gonna be like, aha, it's selling, and then it's gonna do that. Of course it is, but no, but that I'm going to, or it's gonna do something like that. That's crazy. Yeah, watch that happen. That would just be comical, and a testament to my life. Okay. uh, but yeah, your life being comical, exactly, because it's been selling every single time off the open for the last three times? But this time it'll be the time it doesn't. It'll do something like this, and then I'll buy, and then it'll be like, aha, and then it'll sell. Just watch. But yeah, we'll see. Um, we'll see what happens off the. Ooh, where is that? Okay, here we go. Yeah, we'll see what happens off the open. But I am gonna cut the stream, and then I'll just do a recap of if I end up taking a trade. Because the buys tend to be less clean, maybe. See how we sold, rejected, and then bought. Yeah, you want to try to get something like that. I'm just looking back to see what I need to do. Buy. This one was a sell for a minute. Yeah, this is gonna be. Oof. Lizzie, you don't like trading? I do not like trading the open. There's no news events, right? Here's one where it bought up and then just dropped, plummeted. Wow, that was probably a news event. Yeah, that was a news event, most likely. And there's gonna be a news event today as well, so we might get a crazy drop or something. We don't know. So I might not even trade that if that's what ends up happening. But I'll definitely pop in and review that. Yeah, something like this would be nice, but I am gonna try to come in around 8, probably around 8 o'clock, and then see where we're at. Because right now we haven't really gone anywhere. If you go back to the beginning, like we haven't really moved from this. We've kind of been slowly going up, but if you count, this is where we initially entered, right? For a short, this is still bad. That would have taken us out right there if we had not moved our stop. And again, it just that trend line we were on. Now we've broken it, but we broke it there too, so that doesn't mean anything. I don't think trend lines are. Yeah, I don't think they mean anything. But anyways, yeah. So this is definitely would have also been a loss if we had held it. So just keeping that in mind. And then, we flipped here for a buy, which was immediately a loss. There was no upside to it. And then some reason I got into a stupid sell. That was an accident. I put a limit order, but I didn't cancel it when I should have. So that's 3 trades. Down $300. That's about $100 a trade. That's not terrible. It's not terrible. But I will probably look for one more. You really think it's gonna sell? I really think it has to. But again, it doesn't have to do anything. but I want to stay out of this because this has already been choppy, and the whole point is to try to avoid this, right? We want ones like this, right, where it sells. You want ones like this where it buys, or where it buys here, right? You want it where it's just gonna buy, although this did sell quite a bit before it actually bought. But yeah, you want these overnight or early morning sessions where one signal just goes and you're not sitting in a trade for forever. Exactly. And it just goes in one direction. And this is not one direction. This is not okay. This is, oh gosh, yeah, this is unfortunate. Yes. Unfortunate that, we couldn't just go exactly. And that's just where we're at. So, um, yeah, I am gonna wait until the open and then we'll see, because that's what I was originally testing was the open. But then it was so inconsistent where it would just drop on some days and then on other days it just was choppy and didn't do anything, or it did something like that. And even other days where it's worse, where it doesn't go anywhere at all. Like here, this is that day. It went absolutely nowhere. It just it did nothing. It didn't buy, it didn't sell here, it barely bought here. Um, and then eventually it did sell down, but this is after one where it finally decided a direction, right? You can't really know, and I wish there was a way to know, right? Like a way to know when we're gonna chop and all of these are gonna be false, or when we finally decided direction and this is actually a true signal, and that the buyers are in control, because this is basically saying buyers have more momentum, um, and the buyers are in control versus the sellers, quite plainly. And so, I mean, that's my simplified understanding of it. It's a momentum based indicator. And so, buyer's momentum versus the seller's momentum. And so, um, and that's what I want to look at as being your main point of entry, is when buyers have taken control. But maybe I do know there has to be some sort of check to weed out again things like, yeah, things like this, where it says, oh, buyers just kidding, sellers just kidding, buyers, sellers, and buyers, and now it's saying sell, but maybe not. See, they're equal. It's literally at zero. They're literally equal right here. So I just want to not get so many false signals and just get one. I just want to be able to weed out the bad ones. And so um, weeding them out based on time is one way. Also weeding them out based on um, time, volume, all those things. And so that's something that I definitely gonna look at today, to see if there's this better way of telling, because we are in a supply zone, but we've been in here and we haven't sold down. So I'm thinking maybe it's a weak supply zone and we just blast through it. So just because we're here doesn't mean we have to sell, right? It does not mean we have to sell. But it would make more sense too. But again, that's the nature of trading. It doesn't have to do something just because it makes sense that it should, right? Gosh. But yeah, so again, cutting the stream, it's been almost 2 hours, and then I'll come back, but I won't live stream it because yeah, I don't want to set up a whole nother live stream. But I will do a recap if I end up trading. If I end up trading after, so yeah, that's just the way it goes. You know, like I said, I come in here thinking, listen, you're probably gonna lose a few $100 today, and then I just trade with that mindset that I've already lost, so I'm not depressed over it. Okay, time to go. I'm gonna be back, and I'm gonna set an alarm for. Mm, I'll set an alarm for market opens at 8:30. I'll come back exactly at like 8:25 because I'm not gonna sit here and then start clicking buttons, and then when my recap ends up being something like, well, time to start over again. Yeah, we're not doing that. So, oh look, it's still buying. Crazy, right? Oh my god.